I'm Dana Jacobs, and welcome back to Legacy Care Wealth Financial Planning's Kids Corner. Today we're going to talk about counting our money. Now that we already have our money jars and we're all ready to teach them about allowance, we need to actually start keeping track of it. My brother always says if you take care of your money, it'll take care of you, and that's a great thing to start encouraging these children to do. There's so many other things we can talk about when we start talking about this ledger, so I'll get into it. But just to get started, we're going to assume that you have a 3-year-old and you're giving them $1 each, and we're going to start keeping track. The very first conversation we need to have with them is this silly sign. What is that? And so just like the letter A up here, it's really just a symbol, and it's a letter, and it helps us know a sound. It's or A, depending on how you're going to say it. This S with 2 lines through it actually means money, and it's a trick that grown-ups use to help one another know that we're talking about money. So you should definitely go ahead and teach them what that sign means right off the bat. Next, we're going to make a few columns. One that says date, one that says money now, one that says plus money, and then lastly it says new money. So pretty much you're going to write the date, and then you're going to start with your jar. Take my son's money out of here. Start with your empty jar, and you're just going to have them help you fill out their ledger and say, okay guys, how much money do you have in here? Do you see any money in here? I don't see any. All right, so how much money? How much do you think? They're probably going to say none, 0. And you say, right, 0. So go ahead and put a 0 there. Then hold this up and say, do you know how much money this is? Do you see any numbers on it? Yeah, so it has a 1 on it. You only have 1 of them. So it's $1. So you have $1. Okay, so here we're going to write $1. So we had 0 and 1. But now if we take your $1 that you got for allowance and you put it in your jar, okay kiddos, how much money do we have in the jar now? And they're going to say $1 probably. And if not, you certainly can coach them through it. So here, yes, then we're going to be able to start keeping track of how much we have in there. So you write on your ledger 0 plus the $1 equals 1. You can go ahead and add in your addition signs if you think it's going to help your child, and also just to help encourage them understand what these symbols mean. And of course, the next week we repeat the process. We say, okay, how much money do we have in there to start? Okay, last week we ended with $1, so we probably still have $1 here. All right, we're going to add in there $1 more. All right, guys, what's 1 plus 1, right? And so then we're really helping them build a little bit of basic addition skills. And then it's, whoa, you have $2. That's awesome. So then we go ahead, close up our money jar. You go on to the next sub-account, goal, grow, give, and continue the process each week. Now, we also have a lot of great sub-conversations we can have from this. You know, don't do this all in 1 week, but I really like going down these little rabbit holes with my children of, hey, did you know who this guy is, on the dollar bill? Oh, it's George Washington, and do you know who he is? Do you know what a president is? And so these are all really good learning opportunities when you take, 20 minutes on a Saturday morning and go through their allowance with them. So another week, you can sort of talk to them a little bit more about the date. You know how mommy's been writing these numbers on the side? Do you know what that means? And take out a calendar and show them how you write, the month/date/year for those of us in America, and really help them start to understand that little lesson as well. So this is a great tool to teach them so much and give them a nice, strong foundation for their future. Okay? When they're 3, you're pretty much doing all the writing yourself. When they're 4, probably same thing. By the time they're 5, you can have them start writing out the amounts in the columns. And by the time they're 6, they probably can be running the whole ledger themselves, 6, 7 years old, depending on the child, and you can double check it. It's really case by case. You got to know your child. But these are just good foundations and starting steps so that they gradually take over this responsibility. If they don't want to write out their ledger and they don't want to sit with you for the 20 minutes, that's when we can say no allowance. If they want the money, they got to do the work. Okay? Let me know if you guys have any questions. Thanks for listening once again.